Chicken Farm and Seafood Market.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the frim sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a at-home edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on a Thursday, getting ready for the big game, getting ready for Valentine's Day. I guess you call that the big night, or for some people, also the big game. And here we are, Jeff Defo at the Forest, Mike Lubie Lubitz, and we are welcoming today our new premier sponsor, the Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. It's been a mainstay there on State Road 7, 441 in Hollywood there, right near Sterling Road, right by all the Seminole properties, the places that Defo and I have visited over the years. And instead of a 401k, it's been kind of a negative 401k maybe for me and you. But no, we love Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market because I stop there all the time, and it's a great place. I've got some things that they set me up with yesterday for the big game. And I don't know if you can see this platter, but I've got all kinds of dips and crackers and chips there, Defo. How are you today, by the way?
Oh, very, very good. I mean, lately I've been inspired by the nighttime walk of life, which has been sensational. And you realize why we love it here in South Florida when you get those ocean breezes and the moon's hovering over the Atlantic. So intermittently you see that every time you pass like 16 condos. It's fantastic. And couldn't feel any better. Everything's looking good. I had a little bit of an epiphany today when we talked to Brandon Lang, one of our handicappers on our Believe podcast, and he's pretty good. Been very accurate at predicting Super Bowls. Overwhelmingly, I mean, stated a case for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Really? Interesting.
Because largely driven by his despising Andy Reid as a head coach in the East Coast. Maybe a little over the top with that, but nonetheless, he dismissed the Kansas City Chiefs as if they were they should change their name to the Kansas City Chumps, according to him.
Well, personal animosity, not usually the best guidepost in making gambling decisions.
Should not mix in gambling. Emotion should never mix in.
Right. But if he has a visceral hatred for a person, and like we know, our friend the professor Ken has that with certain personalities and certain cities and certain teams.
That would be Boston and anything associated.
But Lang is because of gambling. Like the professor just and the Boston teams. Like Lang is.
Well, first of all, if we're gonna talk gambling, the Chiefs, as good as they've been this year in the past few years, they've not been so good to gamblers if you're betting them, giving the points and the point spread. Look, I don't usually bet sports. Usually the one game I do bet with friends is the Super Bowl. And I'm like you, Defo. I like to be the house. I don't like to be the one doing the deciding.
I want to book everybody's action. It'd be great.
Let the other guy pick and then just sit back and say, all right, you be the smart one and I will see what happens. Because usually the house always wins. And but I do have those. I don't know if anybody out there in this audience, you're familiar with the Super Bowl squares, the big grid that has all the different boxes, and then they draw the numbers. And it's if those are the two corresponding numbers for the two different teams, if they match up at the end of each quarter or the end of the game, you get a big jackpot.
I like that your daughter's running one out of her junior high school class.
No, she's not. She's in high school.
She's in high school, yeah.
They don't condone that sort of thing. She doesn't care about.
Are the powers that run that school aware that this is going on and she's got a small gambling ring?
No, she does not have a small gambling ring. Let's not start any of these ridiculous rumors. Defo. I mean,
is she not running the pool that you're in? Your daughter?
No, she's not running. My neighbor is. Okay, my neiber got me.
I thought you said your daughter. Maybe I wasn't listening.
No, you never listen. You never listen. You twist things. These wild assertions. Don't derail the kid's life before it even started. If you're gonna do it,
I was encouraged. I thought, wow, how
if
great
you're
is
gonna
that?
do it, if you're gonna make kind of assertions of illegalities, do it for somebody like me whose life is already shot. Or leave my mother alone.
You're such a crier. I mean, you're like a town crier. I've never seen a guy who had a more made in the shade I was thinking about you on my walk of life last night. I was saying, what is wrong with Mayo? Why does he believe that things are going against him when the truth is the world is your, literally, it's like you're going to Bubbles and Pearls. The world is your oyster, my friend.
Because last night I ran Jacks into Kings at a key moment of the tournament.
Oh, forget it. Look at this free food that you're starting for the Super Bowl from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market.
Well, we wanted to, we welcome them to the show. And I know that, okay, for all the foodies out there, we are talking big game. We're going to talk a little bit about the actual game. We're going to talk a little bit about food and what everybody's doing and catering and different ideas. Delaware Seafood Market, when I was in there yesterday and I met the whole crew, Doug Carter, he's great. He's the owner. He's been there for a long time. I think his family bought it at sometime maybe in the 60s, but the place has been there since 1951.
Pictures are spectacular.
One of those.
They are stocked and ready.
Oh, yeah. No, I shot all these pictures.
It's not like they have one tired dead clam over there.
No. That's the thing. I mean, they pride themselves on their freshness. They get things, off the boat every day, local, sustainable. That's what they're all about. And Doug Carter and his late wife Elsie, may she rest in peace. She was a big fan of mine back when I was a sports writer, and she
that's when you were happy.
When
you went south, you became somewhat of a miserable human being when you went to the city desk. I understand the move.
You could frame it that way, or maybe it was the time I got married and settled down.
No, you did the right thing there. You just blew it. That's all. You blew it, kid. You're like Sugar Ray Leonard, man.
Hey, I'm gonna sample now, and excuse me, everybody. I know today is National Pizza Day, right? Okay. And you know how? Well, like they have 15 of them. There's National Pizza Day. There's National Pizza Pie
Day. By the way,
Day.
how come you didn't acknowledge Sarni's birthday the other day? Did you do it and I missed it?
It was
Sarni had a birthday.
Yeah,
no,
he's very low-key. He'll tell you about every birthday, every stupid food day under the sun, but he won't tell you that it's his own birthday because he's a very,
I had to find out through roundabout
humble
sources.
Guy. Yeah, and I'm sorry, because he's very, so we're gonna wish Jim Sarni a belated happy birthday, and the next time we see Sarni, I'm gonna buy
You would have
him.
had blaring trumpets if it was Dick Steen's birthday, or another guy who would be a must for any big game party. Now would be Tommy T, man. I mean, that'd be the way to go. I wish the Saints were in this thing.
Yeah, no, but you know what? Talk about, big game ideas. If you're up in that Boynton area, I know Tom is going to be doing a bunch of stuff out of Noble Brewing, and he's got those muffaletta sandwiches. That's great for a party, along with all his gumbos.
A tin of that lasagna that he makes was the biggest hit I ever brought to any party ever.
But if you really want to be the hit of any, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you're talking dips, which is, it's funny. People usually are very lame.
Yeah.
And I'm the king. I like the nacho cheese dip. That's like the lamest, boringest dip ever. It would be cool to be able to whip out like some different kind of dips and really like shock your party, or even if you're just going low key and do your own thing.
High-end fish dips, yes, awesome.
They hit me up with some of their, trademark signature items like their smoked fish dip, which I have right here in front of me here, and it's now made with smoked tuna. I think for a long time it used to be smoked marlin, but for some reason I think marlin is now banned.
Wahoo? Wasn't Wahoo a big thing there?
Wahoo used to be big.
Oh, but, kingfish, smoked kingfish.
Well, usually you use the crab fish, like kingfish or something of that nature, because you don't really use that for anything else. That's interesting. They're using.
I see kingfish smoked all the time. I mean, that seems to be the thing to do with the kingfish. Besides, just throw it back.
Bring it away.
Some people would do mackerel, but that's a very fishy fish, high in the omega oils. And I think marlin used to be the kind of standard, but I think there's now a ban on fishing marlin because of just stocking issues. So so now you know what. This dip is still delicious. It's their signature smoked fish dip.
Nice.
And I just put a little bit of a water cracker in it.
Okay. You don't have lemon.
You don't have to eat the whole bowl on the show. I mean,
no, but it's got that nice tang with the mayonnaise, but not too much. And you still get that good smoked fish flavor, that essence of the sea. I'm going to take one more bite of this, and then I'm going to move over to the smoked salmon dip. And we're big fans of smoked salmon because we're Brooklyn Jews, me and you, Defo. And yesterday at Grandpa's we got hit with that
was great,
the bagels, and I had the lox, eggs, and onions.
I just had a piece in that Knish from yesterday before the show. Fantastic, man. They do a great job there. Also, I did have this stuffed cabbage. I know yours was a little bit on the cool side when you got it. But
somebody forgot to throw it in the oven.
I nuked it for like 30 seconds. It was fantastic. Great stuffed cabbage.
Oh yeah, it's nice. I got that sweet sauce. But
okay, so I like
here we go. Here's the smoked salmon dip, which again, at a party, if you want to be the hit of any Super Bowl party, you can go into Delaware and not just buy all these dips and the crackers and some chips, but why not stock up on some of the Key West pink shrimp, and you can steam some Key West pink shrimp. Or if you really want to be the life of the party, just show up with a bag of stone crab claws and maybe.
Well, and here's a question though. I mean, you've got a giant bowl full of this stuff. It looks like individually. What kind of did you get? Like the Costco size container? How did this go? Because normally you get like fish dip, and it's in sort of a smaller container. That wouldn't necessarily fill like a giant bowl like the ones that you've broken out here today for this demonstration.
No, it's the standard kind of marketplace where you give them an amount. Oh, I want.
Oh, okay. You can get them by the pound or something.
They'll give you.
Okay.
That's.
No, I mean, they have some pre-measured off in the case for your convenience, but they have them in different sizes. They have the half pound, they have the full pound, they have the big jug, the two pounder. Or you could go to the deli counter. I mean, the market counter,
and the guy will just dish you out something.
You'll scoop out however much you want. Now, that salmon salad is nice. It's very finely chopped up. Also very healthy, high in the omega oils. And then finally, last but not least, but for the Super Bowl, they came in these tins that I threw in the toaster oven, and it's the spicy chicken dip it was a whole bunch of shredded cheddar cheese on top. And it looked like kind of I don't want to mention Skyline Chili because this is a much higher level order stuff.
You could lose a sponsor quickly by associating them with Skyline Chili, Mike Mayo.
But they
got to know the game, kid. You got to know the game.
I melted this blanket of cheese on this chicken dip, and it is delicious because it's got that, just that little bit of the spice, and it's kind of like a buffalo chicken dip. It's got that good vinegary kick to it, and the melted cheese, you throw it on some tortilla chips or this big wafer cracker that they threw in the bag, and I'm going to eat it right now. This is also going to be a hit of any big game party because it's that good. There we go. This is the part that Lubie loves. I love it too.
People gravitate towards this portion of the program.
And I apologize to Doug and Jose, the seafood manager, and all the people. They thought I was this, kind of respectable food critic. And here I am. This is what we get on the Lunchbox. We get lunch. And part of that is eating. And some of that is eating and talking at the same time. I'm going to stop now because I got to chew this thing. Defo.
A little spicy there?
Yeah, it's good. Okay, I got my water. But...
Hey, it sounds like a great place. The photographs alone, the pictures that you posted there as part of the tease, that they were the sponsor today, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Fantastic. I've never heard anything but great things about it. I don't think I've been in there for a while because I don't normally venture to that part of town very often, especially not when, in the mode to purchase food, but would be well worth a stop because I've thrown many a Super Bowl party in my lifetime. And if you could get an assortment of dips like that, that's one stop. And then, probably take care of all of your other needs as well, including, any type of main course that you might be serving. The stone crabs, as you said, outstanding there. Good prices.
All these type of fresh fish. I mean, they get in grouper, right off the boat from across the state. They have these trucks
real good
coming in, when they pull the whether it's the Florida lobsters or the stone crabs right out of the trap, the boaters come in, the fishermen come in. And really, literally, it's going right off the dock into trucks right to the store there. And you could really tell that freshness because, just the way that the things like the yellowtail snapper or the shrimp, these whole fish that they have, you can tell by the clarity of the eyes. That's one of the markers.
That's what you look at. Yeah, really.
Yeah. That's one of the old, for people who are chefs and into food, they know that
clarity of the eyes of the fish. All right.
The firmer the flesh and the clearer the eyes, that means the fresher the fish. And you'll see a lot of clear eyes and firm flesh there at Delaware Seafood Market. So yeah, go in there. You know where it is. It's right across from the classic Seminole Bingo Hall, 4191 North State Road 7. We welcome them to the show today. Again, I've been a customer there for over 30 years. I've been going there and picking up all the stuff for holidays, the turkeys that they get in fresh killed from a farm in North Carolina. I mean, people literally line up and they queue. You think it's like Greek Isles Taverna, the way that people line up for the Thanksgiving birds there. And they have this whole orderly system where they give you numbers. You have an index card from when you ordered in, and then they have your whole package ready to go when you get in there finally. But we love them. I'm so happy to be associated with them because it's one of those. I love family-owned places. I love like places like the Studiali family at Tropical Acres. Places that are not these mass-produced. Even a lot of these bigger markets now are getting all kinds of seafood, but you get the personal touch here where people actually know your name. You see the counterman who knows you. He knows your usual likes. He knows what size of the clams that you like. And it's just one of those things that I love going in there. And they associate themselves. They've been a long time sponsor of the Michelle Bernstein's show that's on Channel 10 on Saturday morning. I think it's called Sofla Taste. And they love their association with Michelle Bernstein. Michelle loves going in there and shopping for her seafood too. And so it's amazing to me that I would be in company like that. But it's no, it's flattering too. I love to be associated with good people and good products, and the Carter family and everybody at Delaware. Very happy to have them on board. And what you want to do every week, you just go on their website, DelawareChicken.com, because they have all their weekly specials. They're circular. You can just click on it. And also they have their daily offerings, like what's the freshest catch. If they're going to do, sometimes they do these flash sales on things that came in straight off the boat. If they have a large supply and they want to make sure they can sell it before, when it's at its peak of freshness, they'll do a spot $2 off special on mahi some days. Just go on that website, DelawareChicken.com. We welcome them to the Lunchbox. And again, go there for the big game needs. And we're going to be doing monthly remotes out there too. It's going to be fun. We'll little
Nice.
location outside we could set up. And we're going to be talking with Gene, who's also one of the managers there. Going to be doing things like, what's the proper way to eat a stone crab? How to crack them, how to peel them so that you get maximum meat and minimum shell. And also he'll be doing demonstrations like how to fillet a fish. I mean, they'll do it all for you there, but
Nice.
if you want to do it at home or cook a whole fish at home and then do a fancy tableside presentation, like at some of those restaurants, the frou-frou restaurants that I like going to, you can impress your dinner guests, especially on Valentine's Day, by like maybe cooking and grilling a whole fish and then filleting it tableside. Gene will be doing some of those things when we do our monthly shows there too. So looking forward to that, Defo. I love seafood. And I think, I don't know if I could ever be a vegetarian or vegan, but I can certainly be a pescatarian because the bounty of the sea, it's healthy, it's low fat, it's delicious, and find all the best
I don't
there.
see it the way you've been gravitating towards red meat. But that was one of the big topics that came up. And I actually, it came up because on Channel 10 this morning, I watched the Channel 10 news in the morning.
Yeah.
They had one of their reporters, a very lovely young lady, went out to, I guess it's Poppy's Steak on
Pappy's.
Miami Beach.
P-A-P-I.
Okay.
Okay, it's from the
I
same
was amazed.
people.
Now, the place was packed. I don't know if they called all. They had the TV thing coming, so they just called everybody they knew to come in and look like they were having a good time. Because
No, it's one of these trendy South Beach places that's always packed.
$1,000 for a steak, Mike Mayo. What steak could possibly be worth $1,000? It was a
Only if it comes with a
55-ounce
happy ending.
tomahawk. Well, yeah, I mean maybe at Rachel's or something, but to go to a steakhouse on Miami Beach, and obviously it was big enough for more than one person, but even if 4 people were parking out on his steak, that's still $250 a pop, and it comes in a suitcase. So, have you been there? That was the question I had.
No, I have not been there. I believe it's from the same outfit, the same restaurant group that runs Prime 112, and Prime 112 is another one of those trendy.
Is that the same thing? What, a
expensive-
dime for a steak? I mean, that's a lot of money.
Well, Prime 112 has been a mainstay of the chic and celebrity set on the Miami Beach. Then they opened off this spinoff, I believe. I think it's called the Miles Restaurant Group. I could be making all this up, but from memory, I'm believing that it is a spinoff, and that they opened this Pappy Steak as kind of a also high-end luxury steakhouse. And all these
high
restaurants.
end is an underestimation there. I mean,
It's one thing, like
luxury doesn't even apply to
I
this.
paid the other night for a nice, beautiful piece of USDA prime meat that's from the same butcher fabricator that cuts and ages the steaks, or for Peter Luger's in Brooklyn. But they're doing that same steak program now at Anthony's Runway 84 in Fort Lauderdale. And for a beautiful 16-ounce strip sirloin steak, I paid $68. Yes, that's a pretty penny.
That's a bargain
It was
by
worth it.
comparison, yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
2 figures, not 4 figures. I mean, when you get into $1,000 for a steak, that's just the height of like ostentatious off status. It's everything about food. It's gimmicky.
Is that a la carte,
It's
you think? $1,000 for the steak? Does it come with like a baked potato at least?
well,
Nothing?
and it's places like this
Parsley?
Patty's. They make a show out of it where they bring it in a suitcase, and I don't know if they have sparklers sticking out of it. Or
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have
no, it was wild.
fireworks,
I
or
mean, there was some
yeah,
show.
no, I mean
I
they
would have
put
to
on
say.
this whole South Beach show,
And
and
it looked
look,
great. I mean, it looked great.
now that cryptocurrency is imploded and that Sam Bankman fraud has been exposed and that FTX is now FU, oh, never mind. But it's I
Careful,
don't
man.
know
Careful.
if that culture is going to be thriving, that there's enough to support. Well, you know what? It's Miami. There's always people with money
It did
coming
look
in
like a
from
bunch
other
of
places.
kids that had cashed in on crypto or were selling kilos of coke. But not to disparage the clientele there. I'm sure they're fine, but you would have to have just sick, ridiculous, almost like superfluous cash to
Well,
be
it's
able to
like
do that.
I think
And even then,
everybody.
you would have to have lost your mind to go pay $1,000 for a steak. No,
No, it's crazy, and like that other Salt Bay guy, what's it, Nurser's L? I don't know. He's that Turkish guy who's the chef that sprinkles the salt like that, and he has a place down in Brickell, and he also has $1,000 steak that's coated in gold leaf and all this BS stuff, garbage. It's like, look, prime beef costs more. It costs more for quality, but it never should be that much. Like, if you go to some of these, great places, great steakhouses around the country, the Peter Luger's, where you get a porterhouse for 2 or 3, and the porterhouse for 2 is like $120, and porterhouse for 3 is $180. I mean, that's in line with what it costs to produce a high-end piece of beef and serve it in a fancy restaurant, a nice setting with proper service. But the other thing, I think everybody has a price and everything has a price. It's like, there's only a certain amount of money I'll pay for a round of golf, and I think anything over,
what's the
let's say,
most you would pay?
well, I'm a
Would
former
you pay a
golf writer.
nickel to
I wouldn't pay
play
anything.
Pebble Beach?
Pebble Beach, no, you know what? I think the most I've ever paid out of my own pocket was like,
You were getting all those freebie rounds though when you were
No,
writing golf.
Bandon Dunes. We didn't get comped at Bandon, and this was back when it first opened. It was actually still a bargain. It was like only $125. Now they're up to like 600 to 700. I just don't think. Well, any round of golf that I play is not usually worth more than a nickel, or I mean, and literally 5 cents, because that's the way my game is. But
When was the last time you played, by the way? I don't hear you talking about any golf exploits.
My golf game.
Because I was wondering if you had played the course or covered when newspapers had travel budgets. Imagine they were sending the golf writer on the road to just regular, routine weekly tournaments.
I'd
But
go everywhere.
that waste management tournament in Arizona that's taking place the week of the Super Bowl this week. I mean, that looks like a hell of a lot of fun. I don't know about the course. I have played an Arizona golf course when I was, they had like a sort of a scramble for the media before one of the Super Bowls when I was out there. So I got in on that. And those courses are radically different than anything that we're used to, because you have a little bit of grass where the tee box is, and then the rest is desert and barren wasteland until you hit the green, and that's it. So you either make a good shot or you're completely, as you started to say yesterday, rhymes with ducked.
No, you could be in the cactus there, and that could be a
Yeah,
thorny,
and
sticky
pale to a
situation.
cactus with like a thing in your
No,
eye.
I've played all over the world. I mean, that was one of the beauties of being a golf writer. I played in Scotland at St. Andrews and some of the great courses, the links courses up and down the coast there. I played, Augusta National. I've played Pebble Beach. I played Bandon Dunes, Southern California, the desert golf in Scottsdale down here, some of the private courses. What the bottom line is, I just don't think any round of golf is worth more than, let's say, $300. But now the going rate for some of them,
I wouldn't go
ones
that
are
high.
500. But if you're surrounded by beauty and it's got this history and all these things, then you'll go for it. Especially if they have a good 19th hole and some good drinks.
Too frustrating of a game to spend that kind of money on. It really is.
I think if you make it like your life's habit, where like it's the thing you do all the time, so you really want to test your limits, fine. But like if you're just a hacker, like to go spend money like that, like literally, like Defo joked about it when we went there. I just went to watch, and you're watching these people. It's like, okay, just look at the course, because to spend $1,000 $800 to hit it into the water 25 times. Like you can go to the canal outside your home and
Right.
do that. Like
You go to that Pembroke Lakes, driving range where it's straight into
Yep.
the lake.
Narrow.
I got a kick out of it because some doctor teed off when I drove by Pebble Beach, and I wanted to see the course naturally. So stopped in with the person I was with, and we had a drink there in the restaurant, which is very nice, a little expensive but nice. And I think we might have had something to eat there. And then we watched a few people tee off on number one. And when you're in that little brush, that little bush that's right off the women's tees with your first shot.
Not a good feeling.
You really should turn your rental clubs back in and give them right to the starter and say, hey, look, can I get back $250? I'll give you $50 for this one stroke. But it's going to be torture going around there. You can't tour that course if you're a hacker. Forget about it.
No, it's some of them are really, hey, but you know what? People pay for dominatrixes too. So some people are just.
What if
S&M
included around the
humiliation?
Pebble Beach, the Pappy steak? Would you then be inclined to go? I mean, shouldn't that come with something or a chance to win money if you're going to spend $1,000 on a steak?
Well, that's why we love the track and going to Gulfstream like tomorrow, because it's one of those things where you might have to spend a little bit of money for a nice buffet, but there's always the chance that you could come out ahead. And I love that story from unsolicited from last week's. Well, not last week's winner, but the one a previous winner of our Gulfstream Tens Palms contest. Megan went for the first time. I mean, she went to redeem her prize. She posted about it on Let's Eat, loved it, was greeted and all that. And she ended up winning $12.80. So she came home with more money than she went with and got a free brunch. And that's why we love going to those pari-mutuel facilities sometimes, because you got a shot of actually like having a profitable day and getting well fed and all that stuff. So can't do that at a lot of the sporting venues where you're just going to be shelling out $20 for a beer, $35 for parking or whatever it was. But so be it. Everybody has a free choice to spend money how they see fit. I like to spend my money on good food, and it shows. Hey, a couple of sports things real quick, and then we'll get into the big game and food and what everybody's doing and what everybody should do and some of the options out there and how to make it, I guess, team appropriate. But two things, I guess. Well, what is your pick? Have you settled yet? Because I hear a lot of flip-flopping.
I'm confused.
All over the place.
My brain is the same.
I just saw a guy on FanDuel TV post up a 12 prop parlay where you could put down $20 and theoretically win like 21,000. But some of the things seem like completely impossible. Lubie has the lone guy that I know that doesn't like Philadelphia. He has a firm conviction on Kansas City in this game. I don't.
And I thought I was saying, Kansas City, they're the class. They're like a grade 1 racehorse. They've been in the big games before. They've won.
Yeah.
Mahomes,
all that is true.
Yeah. Talented. And I thought the AFC is better. But then I look back at this season, and Philadelphia is 5-0 against the AFC. And also, they've been kind of semi-dominant a lot. They have a really good defense. I guess there's some question marks about their quarterback, Hurts, whether he is hurt or he has some, I guess, shoulder issues. Mahomes and his ankle should be fine. But you just don't know how a first-time appearance, for a guy, a young quarterback, how they're going to fare in with the big stage. So I'm going back and forth. I don't know. I just hope my numbers come in. I think I got 7-0 and 7-3.
Well, you can't lose then, right?
Live numbers. So maybe I'll get a little bit back and just be happy with that. I don't even root for, I grew up rooting for Kansas City. I was a Kansas City Chiefs fan when I was like 4 years old. I don't know why. Probably because they won a Super Bowl. Yeah. Otis
Taylor.
Lanier. Otis Taylor
was great. He was great.
And Willie Lanier.
Oh, yeah, Ed Podolak, man. Remember Ed Podolak ran for like 400 yards in some big game? Was that the Super Bowl?
I remember I had these little Kansas City Chiefs pajamas that I'd wear to bed every night.
Well, that's a scary thought. A little Mayo in Kansas City Chiefs pajamas. Oh my God!
I was much smaller.
That'd be like seeing like Andy Reid in like an Easter Bunny outfit or something. That's crazy.
And even then, I had the sense to know that I shouldn't put on anything Jets related, and because it would just be a lifelong
have you
life
had
of misery.
Barbecue? That's the question. Have you had Kansas City barbecue in Kansas City?
Yes, Arthur Bryant's is famous. There's Gates and Arthur Bryant's.
And what do you think?
Rivals.
And is it that good?
They're good. You know what they do? Their style there.
It's the sweet stuff that I would like. The molasses,
tomato-based molasses sauce. So it's it's kind of smothered in it. It's not the dry rub like you get in Memphis or parts of Texas. This is kind of like brisket is usually smothered in the molasses tomato sauce. And what they do is they pile it up and they serve it on a simple piece of white bread. I don't know
That's
if
the
it's
rib
Wonder Bread.
sandwich. Yeah.
Well, they don't even do a sandwich. It's just a plate.
No, but I
that
mean,
they,
yeah, they put the white
Yeah,
bread.
they'll
And
get
that
the
was the thing at the People's Ribs, which was my
yeah.
favorite place
You'll
ever
get
here
the
in
Well,
South
they just
Florida.
put the kind of like a
Fantastic.
base to soak
Yeah.
up the juices and the sauce on the bread, but it's not like a sandwich. They just give you the one piece at the bottom and then the sides.
Now, are
I
St. Louis ribs anything like Kansas City
Well,
barbecue?
St. Louis is just a cut of the rib from the,
Okay.
it differentiates from the baby
Because I'm
backs.
in close proximity there in Missouri.
No, but the St. Louis refers to the type of cuts, and I don't know if it's because it was done at the slaughterhouses in St. Louis. I don't know the origins. I can make that up and sound authoritative too.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's
you're
not
making up a
because
lot of stuff today. I'm not sure that
no,
any of
that's
the
all
stuff
right.
you're saying has got any
Somebody could
foundation
fact
in
check me,
accuracy.
and
Yeah.
then just put it on Let's Eat, and then we'll. People got bothered. I was fact checking them today because one guy kept insisting that, oh, the waiter told me that it's just Runway 84. It's no longer Anthony's Runway 84,
Oh, we
which
talked to him.
and
God.
we
How did
talked
you get
about it
into
with
that? Wow.
Anthony. Well, the thing is, I have the receipt, and I took a picture of the receipt, and on the top there's a logo that says Anthony's Runway 84, and then on the bottom that lists the name of the establishment as Anthony's Runway 84. I posted a picture of that receipt, and he goes, "Whatever." And I was like, "No, not whatever. I'm posting."
You get too offended by these things.
I love how you get so into it.
You have to
There's
let
certain-
it go, Mike Mayo.
No, I
Don't
don't
let
have
the
to let
fans
it
get
go.
under your skin.
I don't have to do anything. You don't have to tell me what I'm
Well,
going to do
Anthony
or how I'm
himself
going to
said-
You need to let it go. No, you're angry. I
Yes.
don't understand it. You're always angry, and it's not a good condition, especially as you get older.
Maybe it's just
as
an
time
act. Maybe it's
goes by,
just a
let it
persona
draw off
I
your back.
wear
Yeah.
It's not
as an
act.
admin and as a live stream host. Maybe it's not the real me. Does anybody know the real me? Do you know
Yeah,
if I'm angry?
I'm not sure I want to with this anger that you exhibit every day. It's crazy, man. Who cares? I mean, so yeah, I mean, whatever they call it. Anthony was on. He even kind of shrugged his shoulders
He
at the
said,
whole
yeah.
notion.
He's like,
Yeah, look,
"I'll runway, and I'm okay with
people
that."
could call it what they want. I just dropped my dip on. I
Of
always
course
do.
he did.
Anyway,
Yeah.
oh, the other thing. So, if somebody put a gun to my head, I'm flip flopping. I think now I like Philadelphia. I don't know. I'm so confused on this game.
I
So
became a fan of Philadelphia after. If you catch our podcast on Believe, that's BLEAV Network, Brandon Lang. It's a little graphic for the faint of heart, but one of the things that's amazing about this guy, and I don't know anybody else in sports that does this except maybe Sean McVay, the coach of the Rams, but his total recall of virtually every play in games that happened like 37 years ago is amazing. And the stuff that he cited about the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles made me think that the Chiefs would have no chance in this game, as much as I want to go ahead and
Maybe
put a
it'll be-
few bucks on them. Yeah.
maybe it'll be a blowout. You know what I like is your angle, like predicting that the game will be a blowout. And what you should do is cover yourself on both sides. Bet Kansas City giving 23.5 at 13-1, and
Yeah.
then bet the Eagles giving, I don't know what their
I'm
blowout
not sure what that
spread
number
is,
would be. Probably
but
be
like
somewhere similar.
bet the Eagles that win. But just go bet on an old fashioned blowout.
Bet on a blowout.
both
Yeah.
sides, and then you'll be a sure thing. Because if you bet, one thing is 13-1, and one thing is 10-1. If you bet two of those dollars on each
Yeah,
of
it's
those,
close.
you're
It's
assured of a
close.
win. So just bet both sides in a blowout, and maybe we'll have an old fashioned 1990s Denver Broncos.
Could be. I mean, it could happen that way.
blowout.
Yeah.
So
One of the quarterbacks goes out, or a key player gets injured. I'm thinking, how is the early pace of the game going to be? Is Kansas City going to come out if they lay one on Philadelphia early, and the Eagles look at it like, wow, we haven't seen anything like this before? Then Kansas City obviously would be in there with a big fighting chance. But Philadelphia has just controlled games. And I don't know that we got a lot to go by in that last San Francisco game because it wasn't really competitive. But the way they've controlled games is impressive enough to me to make me think that maybe Lang was right, that Philadelphia probably has a better team overall.
Tom T is giving us a tutorial. St. Louis ribs are trimmed spare ribs, and he said it became the trimming style there at the barbecue joints in, I guess, in St. Louis.
But you
And
weren't
then
overwhelmed by
spread
Kansas City barbecue then, it sounds like.
See, that's the
It's
thing.
fine.
See,
I didn't
Okay.
say I wasn't. I mean, it's like any other bar. I mean, I don't like the saucy sweet. So yeah, you're right. It's not my particular
barbecue
favorite
people,
style.
and we've
I
talked to Ed, who's now the two-time champion of the Visit Lauderdale Barbecue Fest.
Ed Randolph.
The professor, who's the guy that literally has been smoking.
Dynamite. Yeah,
meat.
barbecue guy.
That's his big thing. We've talked with other barbecue people where literally when I asked Daryl, he literally made a face. No, we don't put any barbecue sauce on it. We just do rubs. So
dry rubs. I love dry rubs. I love Memphis style. The Rendezvous is a famous place that has the baby back ribs and other ribs in Memphis, but it's all dry rub spice. And then
so when
you can
someone
dip it in sauce if you want, or squirt sauce on it if you want.
is a lay person like me who grew up because my parents, we sop it with barbecue sauce, like our Italian, we sop it with tomato sauce. We are, I feel like, looked down upon. And you can say we're not, but I see your face and I see all their faces whenever I say that.
It's subjective. That's not just because all the barbecue experts and the ones who are doing the judging in all these major competitions thinks that it should be way, and that's the ideal, the platonic ideal of what barbecue should be. This is the beauty of food. Everything's subjective. If you like it wet and sweet and sloppy and sopped with all that stuff that unsophisticated palates like, then that's fine for you. I mean,
See, there you go with that judgment, though. I mean, you had
oh
to
yeah,
throw in a jab. You
I'm
had to throw in a
horrendously
jab.
judgmental, but
You're
it's
like
not
Andrew
like
Galata with the low blows, man. I mean, you're
but it's
unbelievable.
not like I'm right and he's wrong. If that's what he likes, who am I to say that that's wrong? He likes that.
Well,
It's
he could look at you
subjective.
and say your taste is unsophisticated because you don't like to
No,
slow down
no,
the
you
steak.
can't say that. Because I'm aligned with the
You are
experts.
sophisticated. Yes, I'm the.
You have 98,000 followers that are all waiting for your judgment. So where are you going? I mean, you've mentioned this before, but I mean, if you were going to cater a party for the game and you were going to have Philadelphia, fare, obviously
Yeah.
cheesesteak oriented and whatever else, that broccoli rabe sandwich that you like, and or pork roll sandwich, and barbecue, what would be your go-to joint, to get barbecue around here?
Well, I mean, so for the cheesesteaks now,
We know
I'm
where we go
saying
for
The
cheesesteak.
cheesesteaks, there are a
Wicked-
variety of places. Naturally, we're partial to
We
Wicked.
go to
Well, I'm
Wicked.
partial to Wicked cheesesteaks now because they actually have really good product. There's also near me the
Someplace in
Sonny's.
Hollywood, my
Well-
friend Tom Caminiti put up
Well,
a thing about.
Sonny's famous steak hoagies is actually John and Marilyn Nigro are the couple that run it. John, his father, was a baker in Philadelphia who moved down here and opened that shop in the late 1950s, and it's cash only, and he bakes his own rolls every day, and they have some good product. And because there's Philly roots there, I would say if you're in the Hollywood area, you could go check out Sonny's famous steak hoagies. If you're up in the Fort Lauderdale area, Brian, who's from Maine, but his wife, Sonata, is from the Philadelphia area, I think Camden, New Jersey. So that's why he became familiar with and perfected the art of the cheesesteak. Those are good places. I almost pulled into a Miami Subs Miami Grill the other night.
Oh yeah, I wish you'd check it out for my son.
But
please.
it was after 9 o'clock, and I just said, no, I'm not doing this to my body because I know it's going to be greasy and just not that. Look, let's not being too judgmental. Even the best cheesesteaks are a little bit greasy. It's the nature of the beast. It's a ribeye steak. It's a fatty cut that they grill up. So I'm prone to eating those things more in the middle of the day now.
Although the Wicked cheesesteak sandwich is not a greasy commodity at all, and has all the flavor you could want.
Tom T says he's making for the game cheesesteak, mac and cheese, and Kansas City barbecue pork steaks.
Sounds
and
good,
down here, barbecue joints that I like, not necessarily Kansas.
But what's a barbecue place? Because
I like smoke barbecue, and they have sauce that they're more along the Texas Austin style of brisket and things like that. And there's Dixie Pig, but that's the Carolina style with the mustard sauce or the vinegar sauce. But as far as a Kansas City style, you know what? I'd say go to Mission Barbecue. Mission Barbecue has all styles, and there's like a chain that does a pretty good job. There's one of them.
What do you think about Four Rivers? Do you like Four Rivers?
No, you know what? I'm not a Four Rivers fan. Not the one in Coral Springs. I hear
Dixie
the one.
Pig. You like Dixie Pig?
I just mentioned Dixie.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Those who've been listening, that was the Carolina style with the vinegar. But no, Four Rivers, the original one in Orlando, I hear great things about. But when they opened the outpost here in Coral Springs and I went to review it, I found it overly sweet and overly saucy, which is probably why you like it. And I guess that kind of matches up to the Kansas City style. So maybe those Kansas City fans that want Kansas City style barbecue should go to Four Rivers. But I think I like Mission Barbecue better for one of those chains.
Have you been to Georgia Pig?
Georgia Pig.
Georgia Pig? Why do I know Georgia? I feel like we
Well,
did Georgia Pig.
Well, Georgia Pig was at the food festival at the barbecue battle. They're famous for their Georgia items, the Brunswick stew and the chopped pork sandwich. They don't really have. I don't think they're known or even do ribs so much. It's more of those pork sandwiches and the bread and butter there. So
Is
that's
still popular? Sonny's Barbecue.
No, that's a
They have
terrible
a lot of
place.
locations. Do they have any?
I figured you would mention that.
I like their
and now there's also Rob's Barbecue, also Scroobies or Scrubbies. I don't know how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
I think Rob's and
and
Scrubbies.
Shorty's was a classic place. Shorty's Barbecue.
Yeah, those are
down
all
there in Miami. Yeah.
They were like
Here's my pretentious foodie hat coming on.
Kansas City.
I think they're all garbage places. They
All
don't do
garbage.
proper,
Wow.
They don't do proper smoking. They do it in ovens. They sometimes some of them use
Total
liquid smoke.
condemnation by me.
Yeah, no, I just
It's okay. I mean, this is your
not
show.
going
I
after
mean,
them as sponsors. And
we're trying to get your opinion on things, and
I
sometimes
like
it's hard to get it out of you. Yeah.
No, well,
I like
you got it out of me. I think
All right.
those places are not that great. I'd rather go to a place like Smoke Barbecue for their kind of brisket and ribs, and or my friend Raheem, who lives in Hollywood, but he has that drinking pig barbecue up in North Miami.
I like a drinking pig.
Yeah, so he has
been out with many, unfortunately.
All right, we've gone way over. We got to do a break.
Okay, 2 more.
What?
A Smoky Bones, which you won't like because that's like Kansas City, and Tom Jenkins. Okay, Tom Jenkins, though, that was a classic, and that's like in the middle. I feel like.
See the
Tom
face he
Jenkins
made on
been
Smoky
around-
Bones? Did you see that, Mayo? I mean, Mike,
I
Lubie.
know
Lubie?
it's Kansas City.
It's just
Very sweet. It's like what I like.
okay.
I like that.
If you're in a foreign, like if you're in the middle of like some state that, well, you know what, whatever, it's a chain. People like the predictability of chains, the consistency of chains. Smoky Bones I would not go to and spend your money there because there's so many better alternatives.
Smoky Bones.
Tom Jenkins, the last time I was in there, it wasn't as good as it used to be. It's not it was started by two friends, or I think it was Irv Harold. They used to work at IBM. I think they've kind of phased out and passed it on to their sons. And I don't know, it just didn't seem as good as it used to be to me. It's still pretty good, but it still has its fans. And up in Palm Beach County, Pigsty Barbecue, guy named Tom and his family, they have a nice setup there. They do some nice things, including like a smoked pastrami also. That's pretty good. So that's your
Susan,
barbecue wrap
adds
up.
in Spanks the Hog, which I will recommend their cheesesteak. They do have a very good cheesesteak there and some good barbecue too. Spanks the
I
Hog.
can't comment on it. I've never been there. I've never been
Cypress
there.
Road and
I know where it is. I know
Spanky's been doing this for a long time. He started like cheesesteak things.
And you know
way
what?
back
I've
in the
never
day. Yeah.
I've never been to the place that was the contest answer, the Rock and Roll Ribs up in the Cold.
Rock and Roll Ribs is great. I believe
I
they
haven't
are
been there
outstanding. Yes.
Heard really good things about
Anyway, you know what? For the big game, you could go get your cheesesteaks and pizza and wings at the Wicked Cheesesteaks. You could go get them Pat Utter at Shenanigans if you're in the South. I mean, he does these wings and he sells them by the 50 or 100 if you're going to be having a party. All our sponsors do a great job. Go to the pizza spot if you're in a pizza mood. Today is National Pizza Day.
Okay.
And I think it's ridiculous to have National Pizza Day. The true National Pizza Day is Super Bowl Sunday because that's when the most pizza gets consumed in America. So I don't know why they didn't just dovetail it into the two. And then they have all these holidays. So I'm not eating any pizza today. I might drink some sauce by the end of the show. And in the next segment after the break, I'm going to actually polish off the twice baked potato I had at Anthony's
nice.
Runway 84. That was a spectacular thing. I called it this thing when it came out. Okay, they charge $18 for it, but it has it's like a cacio e pepe sauce, which is kind of like a creamy cheese and pepper sauce, along with sprinklings of black truffles, and also whipped ricotta. And I said the way I described it is it's bigger than Liechtenstein and richer than Switzerland because it's just like it's a very, very rich thing. It could feed an army. I shared it with two other people that I was at the bar with. I still brought half of it home. I've been nibbling on it for the last couple of days, and I'm going to finally polish it off, I think, after the break. But Tropical Acres, we got to talk about that for Valentine's Day because it's coming up on Tuesday, and you want to go take the special someone in your life out for a nice dinner. Tropical Acres is the place to go. 954-989-2500. Book your reservations now for the big night. Or better yet, celebrate a day early on Monday night and you get half-price wine, or celebrate sometime this weekend and beat the crowds. Tropical Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road. We love the Studiali family. They've been there since 1949 in business. That means they're doing something right. Go there, half-price wine on Monday and usually Tuesday, but not for Valentine's Day. Happy hour on the bar with half-price drinks and all kinds of good light bites, 4:30 to 6:30 in the bar, Monday through Friday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
All right, Mike Mayo has a lot of eating to do, and only about 10 minutes to do it when we get back here with more of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox in a moment.
Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all: Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. We're back. Did we do a double? We did a double? All right. My potato's not ready yet. I'm going to have to run off in the middle of the segment. I'm going to start another little sports discussion before we get back to more food. I heard you talking this morning about, I guess, there's debate now about who's the best player of all time. Was it LeBron?
Yeah.
Was it MJ? I find these arguments stupid and ridiculous and meaningless because, how you compare players from one era to the next. Bill Russell.
You know who's never mentioned in this conversation, though, which is interesting, speaking of other eras?
Yeah.
Oscar Robertson, the Big O.
Big O
who averaged
great.
A triple-double for his career. I mean, the guy was
Russell
amazing.
was great.
Yeah.
Will Chamberlain was great. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was great. Magic Johnson was great.
Yeah, great.
Larry Bird was great. I mean, but, if you're going to go all right, let's frame the question this way.
It's a reasonable sports argument, though. If you're
no, it's fine.
Yeah.
My answer is LeBron. And I'm going to give you the reason why. Well, first of all, there's two ways to look at it. I guess if you're at a playground game and you get the first to choose and you got the whole roster there, who are you picking, MJ or LeBron?
LeBron shows up with Michael Jordan. If I knew nothing about them and I've never seen either of them play, I'm taking LeBron just off the physique. And if I had their whole body of work, right now I'm taking LeBron because he's 38 and Michael's 72. But I think overall body of work. I mean, you certainly. I know everybody. Of my generation will probably have a lean towards Michael Jordan because we saw the greatness of this guy. But and he did so many phenomenal, like Joe Montana, like
competitor,
he's won. But LeBron is missing nothing in that. LeBron James,
right.
and as a complete overall player, consistently throughout the 20 years of his career, I think you probably give this guy a little bit of an edge. No,
yeah. Lubie, what's your answer?
That's my look. I hate that argument because the eras are so different. The way the games were played, the way the rules are, and I don't think it's a cop out. I think that's being logical. I think comparing them is stupid. But I went at it with a guy yesterday during our show. To me, I understand people saying Jordan, but by everything said and done, I'd say LeBron. Like literally, Jordan retired twice, and then still beginning to end, including when he came back with the Wizards, is still shorter than LeBron's entire time, and LeBron's hasn't fallen off at all. Like
no, and it's not just the length and the duration and the quality. Here's to me is what is the most impressive thing. And look, LeBron has had his cast, good supporting cast, and Kyrie Irving and Dwayne Wade. But you could make the argument Michael Jordan, he was surrounded by, I guess it was like two of the other top 50 all-time NBA players, and Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, and then all other bit players like the three-point shooters like Steve Kerr and the other sharpshooter coach,
John Paxson,
Paxson,
Craig Hodges wasn't bad either in that role.
So, all right, but here's what it boils down to me. Jordan won a bunch of championships in one city and one stable situation, even though he didn't get along all the time with Reinsdorf, yada, yada. He had that nucleus there and everything was set, and then they just kind of rolled the table. LeBron has proven himself. You know how hard it is to go and, uproot yourself and get the right pieces and get the right, I don't know how much you make of chemistry or this or that, but for him to win a championship, first with the Heat, and then to go back to his hometown again, to Cleveland, and deliver them a title, this place that had such utter futility, and deliver that championship to that community, and then to go off to LA and be the glitzy star of Hollywood and deliver a championship and restore the whole glitz to LA. I think that in and of itself is worthy of all-time great title, because I don't think anybody else has done it. I don't know if anybody else can do it again. And he's done it with different supporting players in different cities with different management and different philosophies. He did it the Heat way. He did it the what's the guy's name? The Donald, whatever his name is, the owner in Cleveland. All that stuff. I just think by him proving it and winning titles in three different cities over the course of however many years, 13 years it was from the first to the last, he gets my nod as all-time best. So that's my argument.
Reasonable case. I mean, I wish they had generational Vitalis one-on-one. That used to be the Phil at the halftime show in NBA games.
Well, they have AI and they have all these computer simulations. But
imagine, LeBron versus Michael Jordan. Who wins a best of 7 to 11?
Yeah.
1 point per basket.
Oh, I don't know.
In one-on-one. That would be interesting.
That would be fierce. There would be blood on the floor at the end of that one.
Yeah.
Hey, Greater Fort Lauderdale. We love doing Greater Fort Lauderdale, Visit Fort Lauderdale segments with Nikki Mohan. We had a great one this week. We're lining up another one for later in the month. But You should go out there, everybody, because there's so much culinary diversity. This is a place that welcomes everyone under the sun with every dish under the sun. And that means all you foodies out there, the culinary explorers and cocktail connoisseurs, come one, come all. Get ready to savor every flavor and every moment. Dockside dining with breathtaking views, lively cafes along Las Olas Boulevard, award-winning chefs serving up every cuisine imaginable, including our man Timon Blue at the Catherine. There's a world-class culinary scene waiting for you right here. More than 4,000 restaurants in the area. So come stay and play in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Tell all your friends, come on down. This is the month. This is it. Prime time, February, March. It's going to get crazy. Going to be packed everywhere, but that's okay. These restaurants are ready to serve. They're back in business. Our friends like Brad and Dave along the beach there in Lauderdale by the Sea, it's hopping. They love taking care of all the visitors and guests that are in town. Don't forget, you could also explore the thrilling nightlife scene, places along the Visit Lauderdale Ale Trail, the hidden speakeasies, the rooftop bars. It's all here. So it's never-ending culinary and libation celebration in Greater Fort Lauderdale. So check it all out, all upcoming events and promotions and everything you need to know. Go to visitlauderdale.com.
All right, we're going to come back and wrap up. You better get your spaghetti sauce out and your baked potato, because we're going to wrap up this edition of the Lunchbox in a moment here. Run, Mayo.
Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox, Mayo, and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox, Mayo, and Defo sent. We're back on the Lunchbox. We're wrapping up a at-home edition, but that doesn't mean we're not eating. Again, thanks to our new sponsors, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Get all your good spreads for the Super Bowl. Big game weekends, and also Valentine's Day coming up. They've got some nice packages for two with stone crabs and all kinds of seafood stuff. So go check them out. Again, that's at 4191 North State Road 7. They also have curbside pickup if you want. Call in and call ahead. That you
That's
could,
good.
order in. Just make sure it's more than 2 hours before closing time. They're open 7 days. They open at usually at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. on Sundays, and they close at 6 o'clock and a little bit earlier on Sundays. But if you call up 954-983-6831, that's 983-6831. They can do some curbside delivery for you. Just give them your order, and they'll take it right out to your car. They're aimed to please. They're great service. That's why we love Delaware. So I had all their spreads, and now in the last minute of the show, guys, here it is. This is the remnants of, and I've been eating the twice baked potato, $18 as a side dish, but you can really eat this as a meal. I mean, you could go in there and just have this alone. And I bet you can't finish it. I mean, again, I shared it with 2 other people. I brought half of it home. I've been nibbling at it for 3 days. It's got the potato is baked. It's removed. It's kind of smoothed out. They have whipped ricotta with it. They have these shaved black truffles with it. They have the cacio e pepe sauce, the like cheese sauce. And here I go. I'm gonna go. It's so good. It's creamy goodness. It's decadent. It's rich. And when I have a twice baked potato, what do I wash it down with? Of course, my new jarred spaghetti sauce. This would be the Lucchini. It's an Italian Lucchini organic Tuscan tomato sauce. One of these premium jars that are sold at Publix. Let me finish my potato. Defo, does that appeal to you? Do you like that twice?
I do love that. Yeah, I really do. My dad used to do it many, many years ago as a staple of the Thanksgiving Day service. And he would put the potato back in the skin, and it was just absolutely fantastic. And people literally, I mean, it was kind of like, I don't know if you remember on Halloween when you'd find out that somebody was giving away something great, like a giant popcorn ball or, a candy apple, and everybody would gravitate towards that place. Everybody came to our place for Thanksgiving for that twice baked potato my dad made.
But what they do by putting the Italian spin on it with the cacio pepe, that's the cheese and pepper sauce and the whipped ricotta and the black truffle, it is so rich and creamy and decadent. I mean, you really don't need anything else. I happen to get a USDA Prime, sirloin steak to go.
Kind of weird though if you kept going to Runway and ordering a baked potato and leaving and sharing with 3 people. I think even Bruno would get tired of you at that point.
I tell you what. If you sit at the bar, you could do whatever you want, including come up to patrons and insult them too. But that's another story. That was that gentleman. But hey, so here we go. We didn't get to sample this at Sauce Fest 2023 earlier in the year, but this is one of the ones I bought, I think, at Publix. I think it goes for like $7.99 or $8 a jar, made in Italy, and it's the organic Tuscan tomato. Here we go. Let's give it a sample.
That's for his TikTok followers. Disgusting. It's not a tomato juice. That's spaghetti sauce.
It's on this split.
My God.
That shows you what a narrow, small mind you have.
Don't do that. If you do accompany that young lady to a dinner or something, please don't do this and behave like this.
It is in a way tomato juice. It's very fancy tomato juice. It's
all right.
This one is good. It could use a little more depth of flavor. But
I don't know that you're giving it a shot the way you're sampling it.
Yeah, it's not even heated.
It's fairly disgusting what you're doing, honestly.
It has chunks. It's quality. It actually tastes good. It doesn't have any of that dried herb taste. It has.
Can we go on as you just finish it and let the music trail out? That would be kind of.
How about if you think, is it sacrilege to pour
it on your pants?
No.
Oh no, no! Don't ruin his potato. What are you talking about?
I'm putting it on the potato.
Let's just sign off for him, Lubie. He's lost his mind. Okay. We'll see you at Gulf Stream tomorrow for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. That's Mayo. He's on his own. And we'll see you tomorrow with another.
Enjoy every sandwich.